Good Life, I'm Dean Wilson. I'm so glad you're with us, wherever you are. If you're watching us locally here on TV in Santa Barbara, California, at TVSB, we welcome you. And so many of you join us at goodlifetelevision.org and the YouTube page and the podcasts from all over the world. So we welcome you wherever you are. You can also find us on all these social media platforms at goodlifetelevision.org and at the YouTube channel. You can watch both the full episodes, the long form interviews, and you can watch what we call power clips, where we kind of break those up into some of the great moments. And so we'd love to have you check them out. It's just great people. That's the best way I can put it. It's great people, great stories, stories of overcoming. They're not always perfect. In fact, they're never perfect. But we're dwelling on the good stuff, and we're so glad that you're here to do that with us, and hope you'll follow us. I'm so excited about my guest today. Teresa Kuskey is with me. Welcome.
Hi, Dean. I love that we're not perfect. We're all imperfectly not perfect, right? No one's perfect.
Isn't that the truth?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a fantastic story. I'm going to tell some of it as we go here, but Teresa's a third-generation Santa Barbara native. She was a ballet protege at a young age. She, which we're going to get into, the whole dance component of her story, which is a powerful and wonderful thing that she's doing now. But I want to start kind of going back in your life, kind of in terms of where you came from, kind of your upbringing, and then I want to get into your kids and that in a second.
Yeah.
But let's start with kind of your background and kind of your upbringing.
Yes, well, like you said, I'm a third-generation Santa Barbarian.
Yeah.
And luckily, my grandfather came here as a young man. And I have photos of him on Hope Ranch Beach. And my dad grew up at the Biltmore, and my grandfather ran the Biltmore. So we have a lot of local history. So I grew up with a dad, a philanthropist, you know, who did so much to keep the architecture alive, like the Presidio.
Yeah.
I grew up at the Presidio, helping to build it. Our family painted the inside of the Presidio.
Really?
And when you look at the chapel and you look at the altar, there's a real door and then there's a painted door. So I go check it out and tell me which door you think is painted, which is the fake door. So yeah, a lot of history here.
Yeah, it's a great community.
Yes.
It's a great place to be.
We are so blessed to be from here.
Yeah.
And not until you move away and you come back do you realize, wow, am I lucky and blessed to be here? And it's all for a reason.
Yeah, right. And so did you just grow up doing ballet? Did it just come naturally to you? Was this just...
My mom said I came out dancing, and I've always been dancing. And a wonderful friend of hers saw me, and I guess I'm like 4, and she said I was I should be put in dance, and then they called me a dance protege. And so I didn't really have a choice. I was put in ballet. That's a hard life. I didn't do high school things. I was always dancing. When people went to see the symphony, I was on the stage with them. I was in the schools touring with the symphony, and this is all during school time. They would have pictures of me on the wall because I was hardly there. In New York at a very young age, just working all day long at my craft. And I think it's like sports. When you're put in these programs, I am determined and a leader, and I love to put on these events and incorporate different people because of that dance background. So thank you to my mom and dad, even though I cried on the way to most classes. I am very thankful for that foundation, that work ethic that it gave me.
Right, that is very much like sports.
Yes.
And some people can have kind of the bent, the gift, the talent, but then if you don't have parents that blow wind in that sail, sometimes I think we never know about some of the kids that may be good at music or
Exactly.
whatever.
So it's
Yeah.
so important to inspire these children. And guess what? Going to ballet is expensive, and
Right.
the piano,
Right.
and a select few get to. So it's important to give that ability to all children.
I totally agree.
And I love teaching in every school. Every special needs school. I've been on the cover of the news press with like 300 students behind me, or I've taught in disabled classes and they're in their wheelchairs and we're doing Thriller. It's so amazing that God gives us these talents.
Right.
And it's not just for me. It's
Right.
so that I
give
can
it away.
inspire
Right.
others.
Right.
And
right.
I see that now. I
Right.
understand that.
Yeah.
And
that's
I
so
can
good.
actually give it to women that never ever had a dance class. And when you see them coming up State Street, they have never had a dance class, and they feel so empowered and so full of life.
Yeah.
And when they go back to their kids, they're going to be a happy mom.
Right.
and it just gives you so much joy in your heart.
Yeah.
And that just goes out into the community and out into your schools.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing to inspire that
It's
way.
beautiful.
All because mom and dad made me go to ballet.
Right. Right. It all started there. Yeah. So your big test would be if you could teach me to dance.
You know what? You're on.
You know what I've got? So I've got like the white man's overbite thing going, and like weddings. I was kind of a hit for a brief season there.
Oh, okay.
And then, but it like quitting drinking didn't really help me in this area.
Yeah.
It actually hurt my dancing a lot.
I really suggest no one drinks before dancing.
Well, that was the secret to my success.
Because you think you're doing well, Dean.
Yeah, and everybody else was like, "Who is this clown?"
No, that's the problem
Yeah,
in my dancers. There's no drinking allowed because you think you're really good.
Right. Yeah, the gift, giving the gift, that's a powerful thought. I think about, not to make this about the Turner Foundation.
Make it about the Turner Foundation. That's why we're here.
One of the things that we do that I love is this music program at the properties.
Oh.
We have these low-income apartment communities, and we have this
Okay.
music program. And I've always thought, like, one of the missions is to it's not just about teaching music or music theory or whatever. It's about, for me, it's about finding the genius. Like, last night we were at an event and our band plays, and one of my buddies comes over to me. He's like, "Dean, I'm a musician." He's like, "They're really good."
Oh.
He's like, "This is no joke." I'm like, "I know." And we have like the world's greatest music guy, but to me it's about finding like a kid that if he or she was born into a low-income apartment
How
community,
can you afford it?
you can't afford it. So
Right.
then, but that's where I think, are we missing, like, are there like a lot of musical geniuses that we're missing because they never get the opportunity? And so I'm like,
believe
we
so.
want to give the opportunity because
Yes.
we're finding these geniuses, that were
Yes.
born to do this. And it's like, that's and I think that's true about sports. I think that's true about dance. I think anytime we can provide art, where we provide the opportunity,
Right.
then somebody who God made in this way to do this all of a sudden goes, "Oh my gosh, I found my thing,"
Right.
Which that's the ultimate.
You helped find their passion and what
Yes.
they're meant to do.
Yes.
And that's a wonderful thing. And if you ever need me to help in
Yes.
any way,
That's a
and
great
to come
idea.
in and help and teach and inspire,
Yeah.
I'm there for you.
Well, thank you.
because that's what I do.
Thank you.
You're
That's
welcome.
actually a great idea. We have that on video now.
Oh boy.
So I want to talk about your kids. So we were
Yes.
talking about this before we came on. So you're the mother of 6,
Yes.
which is enough in itself.
don't know what happened.
All by itself. Yeah, right. Next thing you know,
Just
I
happened.
understand that. So, but
I
and
love
then-
having children.
I hope so.
I do. I love being a mother.
Yeah, well, and it's special to have 6 kids by itself, and then you've been down the road like we have of this special needs situation where you
Yes.
end up with a child with challenges. Talk about that journey for you. I think it's been 30 years of that.
Yes.
In that
He's 26
26.
now.
Okay, so talk about that.
Yes, it's been an amazing journey, and I feel that all of us have sufferings and things like that, but there's such a bright side to everything. So I was, this was my third child, and I went to a routine visit, I think the 4 months, you know, where you get the little picture and the ultrasound,
Right.
and there was a severely deformed baby there. Very contracted.
Yeah.
And you couldn't see fingers and toes, and it was, the ultrasound lady was, I'm watching her, was physically traumatized. She was like, oh my goodness. And I start, because it's my nature to console her. It's going to be okay. So she couldn't say anything, so wonderful Dr. Green, he was one of our most wonderful pediatricians in Santa Barbara, tells me, Teresa, your baby will not live. Probably has trisomy 13 or 18, maybe one eye, there's no fingers, we don't see feet. This baby will die at birth. So I decided, no one tells me things like that, that I would enjoy every single moment. Oh. So I played Mozart. I sang. I wanted him to have the most wonderful time. And I don't give up. I don't give up. And I could feel this beautiful child within me. And no, he did not move like other babies, where you feel, like, wow, look at that. Mm-hmm. But I loved him so much. So we had the C-section. He wouldn't turn around, so I was prepped for the surgery. Had a priest there to baptize him for the short moment and welcome him to heaven. And I wanted to be there. And the most beautiful child had all his fingers and toes. Beautiful blue eyes. And it turns out he had trisomy 21. So he has Down syndrome, but he also has something called arthrogryposis, which is like a muscle problem, muscle deformity, contractures, so, and also an incomplete intestine. So when people see those photos of me and the most grand covers of this and in all those amazing photos and Montecito Journal, and which I thank you, by the way. I have come from being a full-time mom, a full-time nurse, caregiver. And Mikey, wheelchair forever. Yeah. I taught him, he can eat up here, you know, he'll eat up here. I taught him to drink out of a straw. So the little things in life are such a blessing. And what's wonderful about having a child like that is he is a saint in our family. Right. This is like I am raising a saint. Right. And I feel so humbled before him. Yeah, yeah. Oh. When I bathe him. It's a divine feeling. I feel like I am so connected spiritually to God. Yeah. And I hand it to you and to your wife, and you have a special needs. That it is a road chosen for a few of us, not for everyone. It's not meant for everyone. Yeah. And I believe we are chosen because we're strong enough to handle it. And what an amazing gift you have. You look at the whole world differently. Yeah. You look through the world through their eyes. And my Mikey's amazing blue eyes. And so, yes, God now has me teaching in disabled classes. And I We have a Down syndrome flash mob, and I help raise money for them. And God continues to use me. So, in all of our sufferings, there's amazing, amazing light and blessings.
Yes.
And I've never felt bad or felt sorry for myself. I feel chosen. And so here's to you, because you know our journey.
Yeah.
A lot of people may not, here I am always dancing and doing this and that because of lifting Mikey, who cannot walk at all. 2 of my vertebrae burst. And this is less than a year ago. Don't find that on Facebook. and a hip redone from all of that. So dancing has kept me strong. And so I encourage people to continue their sports and their dancing, because you need to stay strong. And that dancing has helped me be a better mom so that I can go, because that's a full-time job, my Mikey.
Yeah.
I have to take him to the bathroom, everything.
Right.
I am his feeding, I am his bathroom, and I go off and I tell my women when we enter that classroom or Carrillo Rec Center, there can be like 100 in a classroom. And I've come from my sufferings and things, and I say, ladies, leave it at the door. When we come into this classroom, it's about us, and it's about the goodness in this room. And there's an energy in this class, in this hall or this rec center, that is divine. And women will say, I have chills on my arms. And it's a place where they leave their sufferings. Many of them battle alcohol. Many of them come from abusive things. Many of them are having trouble in life. And when they come to my class, that's left at the door. And we bond as a sisterhood. And we have men. I love our token men, because everyone's, hello, taking care. It's the most loving and kind group of women from all walks of life. If they can't pay me, they don't have to. I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it to help them and inspire them, because I know what it's like to have a hard life. And I want them to feel joy and loved. I want them to feel special. I want them to feel my arms around them. And so that's why I do it.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And so and it's changed your family. I mean, you mentioned your oldest actually is going into this line of work.
Mikey, again, what a blessing. So my oldest, star athlete, okay, she was in ballet, and then she turned on me, went to track and volleyball, UCSB. Yes, she is going into special ed, and she taught at DP, already Teacher of the Year in the LA area, and is getting her doctorate now in Seattle for special ed, so that she can come in and help women like me and like your wife and you navigate the system. How can we best help our children and our young adults? How can we make their life as enriching and wonderful as possible? And that's what the oldest is doing, and I'm so happy and inspired, and he has inspired every one of my children. Like, when they're in their schools, they see anyone that has troubles in any way. They're the first ones to go help that person. And I've had moms that have gone to me in our schools. Everyone loves my Mikey. The hardest kid, gang person comes in contact with an angel like that. You don't have to put on any front for him. It's like brings out their inner child. And it's such a blessing to have differently abled children and adults in our schools and in our community. They're a blessing, a complete blessing.
So true. And when we see them, that's what I always think about is, with our daughter's Ella Claire.
Oh, what a beautiful name.
And she's somewhere in the public or, at a grocery store or whatever,
Okay.
oftentimes we look past, sometimes the wheelchair person or the special needs person because we don't understand. I don't fault anybody, but I mean, just in general, people, I don't think I did. I didn't really understand. Like, I would think, you can't talk to them, or like you can't, like, at 20 years later now, we've seen her, we've seen the power, the beauty, the incredibleness of this person. And I say this a lot, like, in our road, I remember standing in the NICU, looking over her. Her head was like
NICU graduates.
Oh yeah,
Yay.
we've been there. And looking at her, her head was like half caved in. And I remember like praying, really wanting healing. I was praying for healing, and I said this the other day, like, we did get healing. It just turns out it was mostly us who needed the healing. Like,
we're the ones that need the healing.
It changes us.
Yes.
For
the better.
For the better. For the better. Like, I wouldn't trade this experience now for all the tea in China, because it's changed us. It's like you said, with the same thing with our kids. I mean, I think it's tenderized hearts.
That's a beautiful word. It's tenderized.
Tenderized.
Yes.
And then now she reaches out. She loves making phone calls. I'll have to give her your number. She'll call you, or she'll text you.
Or Mikey will too. He loves to FaceTime
Oh,
people.
he does? Okay, let's connect them for
Okay.
sure. So Ella Claire, like, I have a friend right now who's like, this guy is like, he's like a brother to me. We've been friends since high school. He's going through a really rough time right now, but this guy is like one of these big tough guys, construction, tatted up, just like, right? Well, he came to our house for the weekend, and so Ella Claire has started to call him. And like, he'll just, how's your day? And then she'll pray for him, and so he'll text me, and he'll be like, Ella Claire called me! Exclamation points. Like, who would have connected this brain-injured, cerebral palsy kid with this rough and tumble, like, man's man, like, but when she talks to him, like, it means more, it's more powerful than if I talk to him, like, because she's just who she is, like this pure spirit.
Exactly, in God's divine plan.
Yeah.
And how blessed are we to be raising these
We're
pure
very
spirits.
blessed. We're very blessed. I think one idea that we need to think about is, how do we get more people connected to the Mikey, Ella Claire of the world? Like, because once they're connected, I'm like, she has this gift of encouragement, like, with whether it's texting people or calling people, like, she has this gift of encouragement. I'm like, she should be calling 100 people a day.
Right.
Like, she could be, and that's one of the things I think about. And when I say seeing them, that's what I mean. Like, we need to see, who has God made this person to be? Yes, there's physical challenges, but
I call it differently abled.
Yeah, right.
And maybe they are the perfect ones.
Right.
And I think we're the imperfect ones.
Right.
And she sounds amazing and lovely. And next time I have my Down syndrome flash mob, she better learn my dance. It's open to all abilities, and it's so wonderful to see them all come together. And I do a nice choreography, and it doesn't matter, and it's beautiful. It's been on KEYT and stuff, but it's beautiful to see these wheelchairs, angels just dancing, and they've become friends, and they all hug each other, and it's a beautiful thing. And I, back to the grocery store and the wheelchairs, and do you approach? I tell people it's okay to come and say hello to a Mikey or someone in a wheelchair. And actually that's appropriate, instead of the, stuff like, don't go over. No, come over to your beautiful daughter. Come to Mikey.
Yeah.
He will probably try to shake your hand. I was at the symphony, or it was Cats, Monday night, and there was the most handsome man with Down syndrome, probably 61 years old. I walked by and he just grabbed my hand and he kissed it. And I looked up and there's this beautiful angel saint man in a tuxedo. And I'm all, wow. And his older sister was holding his hand, and I understood it quickly, and I went right over, and you don't be afraid. I went over, big hugs, photos, and that's how you break that barrier,
right.
is you embrace them. And kudos to that sister still taking care of her little brother, 61. And
So
it was
beautiful.
It was beautiful. And I go, oh, that's why I'm here at Cats on a Monday when I had a very long weekend. It was to see this. And I will often be at something and I'll wonder why, I could be here. And then you see something, you go, that's why I'm here.
That's right.
I'm here because I was able to inspire that one person.
That's right.
And that's how God uses us.
So great.
His divine
Say
love.
the things she says, I'm just trying to pay attention, like what Ella Claire says. I mean, she's said things over the years. Every morning she says the same things, which is, I'm just so glad we get to be together. She doesn't care where we're going, what we're doing. I love to be together. Like, she says these profound, simple, but then if you think about them, you're like, that's really profound.
Right.
And then there's this guy we met. We had him on the program. He's back east, and he's John. He's Down syndrome, and he makes socks. He's got him and his dad have started this business. It's called John's Crazy Socks. So I see John. I'm watching one of the cable news networks, and he's on there, and I'm like, this guy's genius. So he's made American flag socks, and he sent them to every member of Congress.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I said, John, what's your message? And he said, on the program, he says, no more fighting.
Oh, see?
No more fighting.
That's
and I'm like,
it.
could there be a better message for Congress? Like,
That's it.
like this Down syndrome guy that you normally wouldn't see. I mean, he'd just be this wreck. He's made American flag socks, sent them to Congress, and his message is no more fighting.
No
I'm
more
like,
fighting.
we need to listen to these
Exactly.
beautiful, incredible people with
How
that.
inspiring.
I mean, isn't it
My
amazing?
Mikey loves socks. I need a pair.
Oh, he does? Okay,
Yeah,
we'll get
because
you some.
he has different size feet, and yeah, so we do a lot of crazy socks.
Okay,
and
we
he
need to
loves
get you
them.
some crazy socks.
We do great socks.
So Mikey, I need to write down.
Mikey.
I want to meet Mikey.
So Michael William, yes. So we call him Mikey, but I knew I needed a really strong name while I was carrying him, and Saint Michael and the fighter, and Michael William, Mikey.
I love it.
A blessing in my life.
We could talk about this all day long.
I think so.
Yeah. So I'm going to finish because we only have a minute left. But La Boheme. So La Boheme is Santa Barbara's #1. If you're not in Santa Barbara, you wouldn't know this. If you're in Santa Barbara, you probably do know this. So the #1 community dance group. They've won many, many awards. They're all over. They're at all the big events. And Teresa has done an amazing job with this. But just briefly tell us, what's the vision behind this?
The vision is to inspire through my God-given talents, to inspire others through dance and through community. I am able to, when the vets have something, come in with dancers and do, the vintage. We can do any style of dance. So I can come in and support any fundraiser. And while that's happening, and we make any event far more amazing and exciting, but while that's happening, I've got the women who are so inspired to be there and to dance and to help, that it's a win-win.
Yeah.
And so thank you, God, for all these blessings and talents, and it's still going.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. So if you're in Santa Barbara, if you're doing an event, I mean, I'm going to think about this for us, but La Boheme, so let me spell that for you so you have it. LABOHEME dance.com. La Boheme is how I'm pronouncing it correctly. LABOHEME dance.com. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram.
All that good stuff.
But encourage you to check it out because it is very inspiring and it's a wonderful
And everyone
thing for
can
events.
dance with us.
Yeah,
all
even
ages.
Even me.
Oh, even you,
me.
and you
Someday
will be
we'll
my
get
greatest achievement.
I was thinking
see
about
what's
dancing
going
on
to
the
happen.
set, but I thought we need some work before we go on camera. Thank
We'll
you.
do it before and an after.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you.
Gosh, Dean, what a blessing to meet you.
Thank you.
Really,
It's wonderful.
truly.
I
Thank you so
appreciate it.
much.
Yeah, wonderful. See you next time.